Today, we sit down with the visionary behind some of the most iconic moments in BET history. From unforgettable award performances to culturally significant programming, Stephen Hill's influence knows no bounds. Hello and welcome to The Blueprints, a show where we pay homage to iconic trailblazers who are paving the way in their industry. I'm your host, Chantal Rochelle, and I am so honored to be joined today by an entertainment executive. He's a legend, y'all. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Stephen Hill.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Chantal. How are you?
I'm good. So how you like the set? How you like the vibe?
Set's great. I'm going to be honest. I was actually going to get up, move the Village People out into the back, and move Stevie Wonder's Song to the Key of Life to the front.
Because priorities. Yes.
Priorities.
Exactly. We knew we had to come with the music, the vibe for you.
Yes.
We had to come correct. All right, now, before we dig into the hard-hitting questions, I have to congratulate you on your marriage to R&B legend Shantae Moore.
Thank you.
You know what they say? She's got a man at home. Okay,
She does.
And it's you.
I am that guy. I am that man. I never get tired of hearing that song.
I mean, first of all,
Ever.
Congratulations. And when I saw the wedding photos and everything, I was like, wow, this is so meant to be. And you guys have known each other for 3 decades.
You're very kind. Most people who saw the wedding photos said, did he really wear that pink shirt? That's what most people said.
Did you wear that pink shirt?
Yeah, that was my yes. We had a whole arrangement. She wanted that dress. I wanted the pink shirt and khakis, and all my groom's people were in the same exact thing. These are actually the shoes that I wore.
Wow.
These are my wedding shoes.
You have the exclusive, the wedding shoes, okay? And did you wear a shirt that said Shantae's got a man at home?
Yes, that was my reception shirt. I am Shantae's man at home.
I love that.
That she had made for me.
First of all, where did you two meet? I know it's 30 years that you two have known each other. Where did that union
90 Warren Street, WILD radio in Boston. I was the morning show person, and Love's Taken Over had just come out. And so she was an artist that was going around to radio stations around the country. And we met there, and I was engaged at the time, and she was married. So it wasn't a romantic attraction at first. It was just like, oh, you're really cool people. Like, let's just stay in touch. And so we did over the years.
Love that. I love that. So how was the proposal? How did that go?
The proposal, the ring almost got lost into the, I forget what, off of Cabo. It's not the Pacific Ocean. It's like the Sea of California or something.
Okay.
A wave hit just as we were on the beach. I proposed to her, and I almost lost the ring in the ocean.
Goodness.
The box is somewhere floating out there right now.
Well, I'm happy that didn't happen. I'm happy that it landed on her finger. Oh my goodness. I mean, you are a legend in the industry, notoriously known for being the president of programming at BET Networks. I mean, your reign was just one of one. So I'm so curious, since you left BET in 2017, what have been some creative endeavors that have really just sparked your interest in the industry?
Oh, that's a great question. I've really had a great time. I worked with Dick Clark Productions on a few things, and it's always about the mixture of music and television and bringing people, just giving artists that I love exposure, knowing that it's going to go somewhere else. Yeah. We had a wonderful woman named Yola, who's a phenomenal artist that we were able to give a lot of exposure on one of our shows. We had New Edition and New Kids on the Block together.
Yes.
And Maxwell on the Billboard Awards. So just again, the mixture of music and television is what works for me.
I mean, you just have this unique touch of like giving the people what they want because you understand the culture so well. Let's take it back to 2003. The BET Awards where we had the iconic James Brown tribute. I mean, the BET Awards was just literally every summer getting in front of the living room, not even sitting on the couch. We were sitting down on the ground watching the award show. Tell me, what went into making that tribute come to life and the iconic Michael Jackson surprise? I mean,
well, that was the 2003 would have been our third BET Awards. And look, just shout to Bob Johnson and Deborah Lee and Curtis Gadsden and Jackie Coleman and all the people who first started putting the BET Awards together. It's funny because 2003 is when we really thought we hit our stride. We had Monique as the host.
Yes.
Monique that was her first year hosting, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the Crazy in Love intro, right?
And that was that was when Beyonce actually did Crazy in
Love.
Yes,
yes, and the year after she did it. Yeah.
And so we were giving our flowers to James Brown. And luckily, one of the producers on the show, Ron Weisner, used to manage Michael Jackson. And we were like, can you reach out to him and see if he'll do it? And Michael Jackson was such a big fan of Jackie Wilson and James Brown and those who came before him, that he came there and you could tell the emotion in his voice. You hadn't seen Michael for a while before that show. And so it's been one of my favorite moments. I only have two photos hanging in my house from any work stuff. One is James Brown and Michael Jackson together, and the other is Prince holding up Patti LaBelle's shoe when we honored Prince in 2010.
I mean, who can forget that? That was iconic. And having these two iconic legends, it was cemented in history.
Yes.
What was it like meeting James Brown and talking to Michael Jackson? What
Oh
was
my
their
gosh.
energy like? I gotta know.
Okay, so the short version is I first met James Brown. I can tell it was the end of March of 1984. He came to where I went to school, Brown University. We called it James Brown University that weekend. And he's the first of my absolute idols that I met. I grew up, King Records and understanding, he had his own record label and how he treated his band, and he was precise. And so meeting James Brown was amazing. Meeting Michael Jackson, actually wrote a story about this recently, at the Grammys in 1988. Again, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, it's, what they meant to Black culture, Black youth who had never seen anybody famous like them in the media. It can't be understated. And so to have them on the stage together is just one of the best moments of a life full of great moments.
Oh, that's so full circle to really lay the groundwork. It didn't come, the 80s, 90s, but that moment, it all just came together with that.
And the cool thing is there was a after that happened, there was a meeting. I think there's video that exists of Michael Jackson, James Brown, and LaToya Jackson's in the room as well. And Michael just geeking out over James Brown, saying, "Look, LaToya, don't you remember when we'd be at home, James Brown would come on and he'd say, 'Look, James Brown's on.' I'd run to the TV like he's a little kid. Like Michael Jackson, the biggest entertainer in the world, is geeking out over James Brown."
I love that. He just turned into little Michael again. I love that. And going back to hosts and performances, what goes into choosing the host for the BET Awards? Is there audition? Like, what is that process like?
No, I'm trying to picture Chris Rock auditioning.
I know, right?
I want to be the host.
He goes, "Excuse me?"
No. We really look. It's the culture kind of calls for it.
Yeah.
What's in that moment. You want to have someone who usually comedic chops work because they can help carry a show, especially a live show.
Sure.
If you're running long, they can make things shorter. If you're running short, they can extend.
Improvise.
So that's why a lot of the hosts are comics. But the great thing is, I think as Black culture has evolved, especially folks in hip hop and musicians also make great hosts. Queen Latifah is one of the best hosts we've ever had.
Fantastic.
I also, of course, love Chris Rock because he's Chris Rock. But it really is who can move the show along, who can keep the funny going. Oddly enough, Samuel L. Jackson was a host, and he's one of the funnier hosts we've ever had on the show. So
I mean, is there a host or a performance that almost saw a live day but didn't quite come to fruition, or was there any that you wanted to happen? You're like, man, I really wanted this person to hit this.
As a host or a performer?
Both.
As a host, there was one year, I think you'll be fine with me saying this, Ye was determined that he was going to host the BET Awards.
Wow.
Like he was absolutely positively determined, like, I'm going to do all the things that I need to do. I'm ready. He somewhere I still have, he sketched what he thought the stage design was. So he wasn't going to just be the host. He was going to try to design the stage and everything else. But unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition.
Okay.
Like, what's that shiny thing over there? And it all of a sudden, he was out of the running for
I'm
being
imagining
a
that
host.
the stage was probably in space somewhere. He wanted to really bring the budget up there. What about performance-wise?
The one that got away, it was something that happened recently this past year, reuniting Tony.
Oh.
I always wanted to have that hit the stage. Reuniting Tony was the thing that got away when I was working on the BET.
Yeah, well, I pray one day it comes to fruition. Okay, time's not done yet. All right. Well, could you share? I mean, for me, in my generation, like the Baldwin Hills of it all, the 106 in Park, we were running home after school. Like that countdown was just iconic. Can you tell me, what went into the creation of that show. There's many conversations of who started, who created it, but would love to know, where did this show come to life, Stephen? I need to know from the horse's mouth.
Yes, I've seen on the gram there's people taking credit for it. Look, I came on board BT when in 1999, and we kicked off 106 Park September 11th, 2000, which made our first anniversary. We didn't really have a big first anniversary show, and you can understand why. Look, it started because we wanted to have a representation of Black culture every day, and one that was, and to be part of the Black culture, there were a lot of tape shows at the time, and there wasn't a lot of live material. We need to be able to respond to what's happening in our culture live. We always want to make sure we had 2 hosts. It is not by accident that hosts often came from HBCUs, right? AJ's claiming Howard all day.
Yes, all day.
All day, all day. And so it really was just make a show that you could see 2 young people in Black culture every day. And that's it. There's a number of people,
For sure.
Penny McDonald, Lynn Harris Taylor, Melanie Massey, myself, Kelly G, and Rick Grimes. I'm gonna leave somebody out, but I charge it to my heart, not my head.
For sure.
Charge to my head, not my heart. Right.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
it. That's it. I mean, just the iconic interviews. Aaliyah's last interview. Michael Jackson. When that news broke, you saw Roxy and Tara, and just like really felt how they carried that show. Just so many iconic moments. Ye and 50 Cent releasing their album. Like, who could forget that? That kind of face off. It was so monumental. Did you know it was going to be so impactful when you guys were ideating on the show?
No, I'd be lying if I said yes. We hoped. We always hoped. We always hoped for a success. I think it's safe to say we wanted to beat TRL. Like, we wanted to beat TRL, and the show started in September, and I still have the champagne bottle from the day we beat them, which was middle of December of 2000, the first time. And it became really competitive from that point on. And I think the industry was very surprised. A lot of artists were surprised, but what was great is that it gave so much more runway and more visibility for artists. It was crucial that we had a new piece of music every day. Crucial we went back and celebrated an old piece every day. So there was a structure to it. But look, AJ and Free set it off.
Absolutely.
Congrats, Tigger and Julissa, and then Roxy and Terrence took it to the next level.
I mean, it was just unforgettable. I love how also the audience was also like co-hosts as well. They really immersed in it. It was like really bringing the audience into it. So it was really one of one. And going to another iconic series, Baldwin Hills. I mean, in that time, you had like Laguna Beaches and the hills and things of that nature. But this was so beautiful seeing these, affluent African-American families in this neighborhood in Baldwin Hills. And so now being in LA, not native, but living in LA, I'm like, wow, this is like so enriched in Black history and culture. What was that journey like, creating that show?
Well, it was like 106 and Park could do the entertainment part every day. We really wanted to make sure we were showing kind of Black life every day, not just the entertainment part. And so it actually started with College Hill. College Hill was actually the very first one.
Yes.
It was the first reality show, I believe, that BET had done.
Yes.
And the goal was to show people in and encourage people to go to Black colleges.
Yes.
Right. And so there was a lot of controversy around the way some of the people acted there, but that's the way young folks are in college.
Yeah, that's really the truth.
Sometimes you don't want to see all of your laundry aired right there. But what I can say is, in every college we went to, the applications to that college went up at least twofold every college we went to. So there were more people who went to college, more people who were encouraged to go to college from College Hill, and that's what I like for that legacy to be.
That's amazing. That literally watching College Hill was like, okay, I want to go to HBCU. I want to experience this. It literally takes you in, like, kind of immersing you in that kind of hey, this is what you're going to experience, good, bad, and different. So I loved how we saw them in class. We saw them really, partying, getting lit, whatever. We saw the full experience. And so having that unscripted kind of reality kind of era was just so monumental for a lot of people. And making our pivot back to the BET Awards, there is a GIF that is very famous. I use it whenever I got to pay my rent on the first. and I gotta check money to somebody whenever I'm doing something. Like, okay, I gotta send in this.
It is election
mail.
season. I promise you, you will see this
Yep.
GIF.
Mhm.
You will see this
We
GIF.
will see it. We will see
People,
it many
yes.
times.
Yeah.
2016 BET Awards. Rihanna throws a stack of bills directly at your face. Can you please take us through that moment? And was it planned? Was it staged? Please tell us everything.
And that's what happened.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So what about?
So I will. Here's what I'll say. I'll say that happened.
Okay.
That was actually
That was
kind of towards the end of the show, if I'm not mistaken.
That was towards the end of the show. That was towards the end
There
of
was
the
a
show.
picture. I said that incorrectly. There are 3 pictures I have. It's the Michael Jackson, James Brown. It is the Prince one, and it's the one of Rihanna kissing my cheek at the end of that show.
She did.
Which I believe I posted because people were very concerned what was going on.
Well, no matter what was happening in that situation,
by the end of the show,
you
it was
both
all
gave
good.
us a gift to last us for generations. I use it all the time. You know, anything that's be done, here you go.
Yes.
Okay, here
Yes.
it is. But
sadly, it was usually the last election. Like, here I am. I don't want this candidate, but I'm throwing my vote at this candidate.
have you seen Rihanna since then?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She's one of one.
She wants her money back, but I'm like,
You're like, listen, okay, you're like, I had a wedding to pay.
I will
for,
point this
okay?
out. If you look, I do not catch the money.
You don't.
I am very intentional on letting that money. Like, no one's gonna accuse me of like grabbing the money and putting some in my pocket. I'm like, hey.
When it hit you, you're like, okay, amen, amen. No, listen, that was iconic. I mean, just those iconic moments, just having you at the helm during that time. What do you think were key factors that made BET stand out when you were at the helm?
Oh, look, it's not just that I'm at the helm, right? It is all the people who have worked there. Bob Johnson's creation, where Deborah Lee took it. It really was to respect, reflect, and elevate Black culture, the community and culture, at the same time while making sure we were kind of backing Black businesses as well, Black businesses as well. And so a lot of people behind the scenes that you didn't see, that nobody saw, like, we were trying to help their business out as well. And so I think it really was about Black culture, Black people, and everyone was invited. Like, we you know, if you appreciate and respect Black culture, come to BET. Absolutely. I think that's how it started. I think our team while we were there had a great run at elevating that, and it continues to be elevated today through, you know, the BET Studios and BET Plus, and the current CEO Scott Mills is doing an amazing job taking it to new places.
I mean, it just shows like how like teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
And so seeing how all you and your team did during your 17-year run, I mean. That's a grown adult, okay?
That's almost done. That's right.
I mean, you saw so many, you know, different artists come through over the years. Who are some artists that you're a fan of right now that you're listening to, you're following, emerging artists that you're kind of into?
Ooh, I love Victoria Monee. I mean, that album spoke to me in a way that I was surprised at. And it's one of the few albums I've gone back and listened to over again. Sabrina Claudio is a favorite of mine. If I'm going to be honest, I wish I could say there's any new hip hop. I love Coi Leray as an artist. I truly love what she can bring to the game, and Lotto as well. I think Lotto's special. There's not much male hip hop that I can understand or that I get attached to at this point.
The women are taking over, okay?
They are indeed.
Love to see this era of them just really just taking the industry by storm.
And reacting towards each other differently than has been in the past. For sure, right?
For sure.
There's the amount of support.
Absolutely.
There's an amount of camaraderie that has not necessarily existed in that branch of the genre before. That is absolutely refreshing to see.
Collaboration that we can all win together.
Yeah. And
so it's just really beautiful to see. And you kind of touched on this, but I want to go back to your tenure at BET. What, are you most proud of achieving and contributing? Like, when you see all these iconic performances that we can all go back and just pinpoint, what's been your proudest accomplishment during that time?
Proudest accomplishment is seeing people like Naomi Wright and Tony Ducre, and Courtney Whitaker. These are people who were junior staff at BET, and now they're at Universal Pictures and at Spring Hill, and they're running NACA. How could I leave? NACA, who's making great documentaries and great films.
Yeah.
So the best accomplishment is having been there when these young producers and directors started their career, and to see them now, nothing better than that. Nothing better than that.
I mean, just the impact of how just planting those seeds have literally grown just this entire community in the industry. It's really beautiful to see. And wrapping it with this last question of what do you want your legacy to be? When you look back and you're 80 and you're 90, you're saying, this is what I'm leaving here on this earth.
That's I've never been concerned with that. I'm going to try to answer it a different way.
Of course, yeah.
I'm really glad that 106 in Park is talked about amongst a certain generation, like I talked about Soul Train.
Yeah.
Right? That is the most fulfilling, like, oh my God, wow, I can't believe it. I'm just a guy from Southeast DC who loves music.
Yeah.
And to be able to be part of the team who put together something like that is really special. I love the award shows. I love. I just want to. I candidly, more than anything else, even more than that, I just want to be known as a good husband.
Oh,
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Love
if
that.
I'm a good husband, I'm good.
I love that. I mean, just when you were talking about Michael Jackson, freaking, just turning into a little kid again, seeing James Brown. We've seen that with Beyonce and Diana Ross, and you are that like little kid in a candy store when you're doing this passion you're pouring into it. And so now seeing you in this newlywed bliss, just congratulations.
Thank you
for everything that you have done for the culture. You have literally planted the seed that have inspired all of us. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what you
Chantal, thank you very much.
Yes.
Trip down memory lane has been fun.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay. Now
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.